In a small, windswept town, perched on the edge of the world, there lived a young man named Finn. Finn was not a fisherman, nor a sailor. He was a violin maker. His hands, though calloused, moved with the grace of a composer, shaping wood into vessels of pure sound. One stormy afternoon, a woman named Alara was swept into his town, not by the sea, but by a job restoring the old, forgotten lighthouse. She had eyes the color of the sea just before a storm, and a laugh that could calm the waves. Their first meeting was a clash of worlds. Finn, a man of quiet, indoor artistry, found her perched on the lighthouse scaffolding, paintbrush in hand, wrestling with the wind. He had brought her a flask of hot tea. "You'll be blown away," he shouted over the gale. She laughed, her voice carrying like a melody. "I'm tied on. Besides, something has to bring this old light back to life." Their love story was not a sudden spark, but a slow, rising tide. He would visit her at the lighthouse, his violin case in hand. While she mixed paints and gave the old stone new life, he would play. He played pieces that sounded like the restless ocean, like soaring gulls, and like the quiet hum of a light that keeps sailors safe. And in his music, Alar heard her own heart. The drama came, as it always does, like an unexpected fog. A wealthy developer arrived in town. He saw the lighthouse not as a beacon of history, but as an obsolete structure on a prime piece of real estate. He wanted to tear down the lighthouse and build a luxury hotel. He had the money, the permits, and the town council in his pocket. The town was divided, progress against tradition, money against memory. For Finn and Alara, it was a personal attack. That lighthouse was their sanctuary, the silent witness to their love. The fight was brutal. Alara poured her life savings into legal battles. Finn sold his most precious violins, the ones he had sworn never to part with. They pleaded with the town, showing them old photographs, telling them stories of the lives the lighthouse had saved. But the developer's promises of jobs and money were too seductive. They were losing. The night before the demolition was scheduled, a terrible storm, the worst in a generation, descended upon the coast. The power went out. The town was plunged into darkness and chaos. A fishing boat, caught in the tempest, lost its modern navigation systems and was being battered against the rocks. Their radio calls were desperate. With no hope, Alara looked at Finn, her face pale with fear. "We can't just let them die." A fierce determination ignited in Finn's eyes. He grabbed Alara's hand and they ran, battling the wind and rain, to the lighthouse. Inside, using a hand crank generator and the spare parts Alara had saved, they worked frantically. It was a race against time and nature. Just as the fishing boat was about to be dashed against the cliffs, a single, powerful beam of light cut through the storm. Alara had brought the old light back to life. She guided the boat, her hands steady, her voice calm over the radio, using the light's beam to steer them through a treacherous, hidden channel only the old keepers knew. When dawn broke, the town saw the fishing boat safe in the harbor, and the lighthouse, standing proud, its lamp still glowing softly. The developer was silent. The town council was shamed. No one could deny what had happened. The lighthouse had saved lives, just as it had for 100 years. It wasn't a relic. It was the town's heart. The lighthouse was saved. Their story ends not with a grand wedding, but on a quiet evening. Finn stood with Alara in the lamp room, the great lens turning around them. He didn't have a ring. He had something better. He raised a newly crafted violin to his chin, a violin made from the driftwood they had collected on their first walks along the beach. And he played. He played a new song. It wasn't a song of the storm or the sea. It was the song of the light, a song of a love that was not just found, but fought for, a love that was strong enough to guide ships in the dark and to bring a forgotten beacon and two hearts back to life.